Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about the United States presidential election, which is in full swing here in our country. We're going to be voting in just a few weeks, and more debates are coming up between the two candidates as we speak. In fact, one of the candidates seems to be tapping out or trying to back away from the second planned debate. As you might have guessed, Joe Biden isn't looking forward to the second debate, and he appears to be blaming his backing away on the virus. He's saying that since Trump got sick last week, they should just cancel the debate, but I don't think that's really relevant. I mean, the debate can be held socially distanced. They can wear gloves and masks and whatever they have to do. They could put them in separate rooms with glass in between them for all we know. I mean, there's definitely a way to do it if they wanted to. So Biden trying to use this as an excuse just seems like he's backing out, like he's getting a little scared, a little worried. He didn't think it went too well for him last time. As far as I'm concerned, the first debate was basically just Trump acting like an alpha. He was going all out, attacking, defending himself from two opponents. The host and Biden were both coming after Trump. The host was also giving softballs to Biden, letting him get away with things. And it was pretty obvious there was bias there. So if he can't handle a second debate, I can understand, because Joe Biden's weak and old and frail and not really healthier than Trump. He might not have the coof or the virus, but he's certainly not a healthy lad who should be trying to act like he's better than go into this debate when they could clearly social distances and make it safe and do it the right way. I mean, I don't think that stuff's transferred if you're standing on even a stage and you have 10, 20, 30 feet apart. It's not going to transfer. You have to like literally cough in someone's face. But, that's besides the point. We know it's more of an excuse, and that's why we're going to talk about it more today. This article from No Spin News has more details. It says, Biden cast doubt on second debate. Biden says if Trump still has COVID, we should not debate. And I mean, that's probably true. I'm not trying to push a debate or endanger anyone. I just don't think he's going to have it. The debate is not for a while. I don't think it necessarily lasts that long. I'm not actually a scientist or a doctor, but I think once you get it, you can have it gone in like a week or two. It just passes and you don't have it. I mean, you still want to be careful and precautious. I understand that. I'm not trying to kind of, endanger anyone or force this onto Trump or Biden or either way. But I think with Biden, it definitely seems like he's dodging. So here's a clip apparently from Fox News more about this. Let's see what it has to say.
I don't know what his status is. I'm looking forward to being able to debate him, but I just hope all the protocols are followed, what's necessary at the time.
Do you feel safe in the same room as somebody who still may have COVID?
Well, I think if he still has COVID, we shouldn't have a debate.
Sounds not, pretty reasonable in the moment. I don't think he really answered that question, which was more like, hey, will you be in the same room with someone who might have it? That's more specific, but he kind of dodged it and went with the right answer. I mean, if he has it, I understand not wanting to debate, but if his doctors are clearing it, if all the doctors say it's okay, I think it's good to go on. And I think, like we said in the intro, it just seems like a dodge. It seems like someone that's just trying to avoid it. But the other thing is, even if there is a debate, I mean, it's not really the best debates. They're not sending their best. They're not really unbiased, fair representations. Like we said before, the hosts are super biased. Even the Fox News host, which hosted the first one, Chris Wallace, he was like the Democrat from Fox News who totally was swinging for Biden. And I predicted it'll be like that or maybe even worse in the other debates. I mean, here's the second debate guy. Here you can see them calling out the second moderator. It says, Trump campaign calls out second debate moderator who interned for Biden and worked for Ted Kennedy. Let's see what this video says.
Commission saying the first debate made it clear that the next two need more structure. One of the changes they could consider, letting the moderator cut off the candidate's microphone. Let's begin with Chief White House correspondent John Roberts. Hey, John.
Dana, good afternoon to you. The Commission on Presidential Debates, after what happened on Tuesday night that we discussed at length after the debate was over, has decided that it needs to make some changes in order to facilitate a more orderly discussion of...
See, I don't think this change is necessary. I mean, I understand it got a little chaotic. There was some interrupting and talking over each other, but to give the moderator power to mute people, that's just going to make it more biased. I think the goal is just to silence Trump more and to make it better in Biden's favor. I mean, if they're going to change the rules mid-game, I mean, that's pretty scummy, especially considering we know they're all in the bag for Biden. We know they're picking hosts who are very liberal leaning and supportive of him. So that just seems like another cheat to me. Just like how the moderator interning for Biden, we didn't get to mention this title, but he previously tweeted tweeted this too. He said, "No, not Trump, not ever." So why would they pick such a vehemently anti-Trump person to host a debate with Trump and also with his former employer? Like, this guy has intimate relations with Biden. He's worked with him. We see him in this picture with him back in 2016, like golfing or something. And it's just a bad look. And it's showing these debates are out of whack, even when they do go through, even when Biden agrees to show up, which he tries to avoid as well. Another thing worth noticing before we read on is how Biden asked for like 30-minute breaks between in the last debate. He wanted a break every 30 minutes, which is pretty absurd. Trump refused that and said, hey, he'll offer that if you let him check for an earpiece. Biden refused that. Many suspect he was possibly wearing an earpiece. There were some images of him possibly having a wire or something on his wrist to click it or something like that, but that's unconfirmed. And you can really assume by the 30-minute break thing, though, there was some kind of question about his standing up and lasting for 90 minutes. It's like a 90-minute round robin. But yeah, I don't know why they couldn't just let it go round robin. Like, Chris Wallace was the real problem on the last debate. He could have just steered it more naturally and did it more like, almost want to say like a podcast or a conversation. I mean, you could throw questions in there, but he was just too old and rigid. He was just not prepped for it. He wasn't properly engaging, and he was definitely going after Trump more. He was interrupting Trump far more, I believe like 70 times compared to 15 times of cutting off Biden. So that might be due to Trump, talking more and more aggressive and, talking over because he has to in order to get his time, but it still shows a strong point. President Trump's campaign is calling out C-SPAN anchor Steve Scully, who's moderating the second presidential debate, for his ties to former Vice President Biden. Steve Scully, who serves as a host for C-SPAN's Washington Journal, interned for Biden after coming to Washington, D.C. as a student, according to Marie Claire. He later worked as a staff assistant to the late Senator Ted Kennedy, a Democratic icon who was honored by the party's 2012 convention. On Thursday, one of the tweets resurfaced containing a photo with him and Biden. "Gotta love the VP at the Biden Beach Bash 2016, it read. Trump campaign advisor Jason Miller tweeted in response, "Don't forget to change before the debate, fellas." C-SPAN and the Commission on Presidential Debates did not immediately respond to Fox News requests for comment. So it's just interesting the things they want to change and the things they don't change and the choices they make. I mean, it just really makes you think, like, if they want to start muting the president and then they want to postpone the debate or cancel it. I mean, it just goes to show the Democrats and the left and the mainstream, like, they're really in charge of the debates and the process and the whole media spin on it too. They have a lot of power here. It's not the same as the power to vote. Like, we can clearly vote for who we want to, but this kind of influence is very sketchy. It goes to show how close things can be and how much sway can come from these bad actors who are trying to their best to kind of like propagate, to spread propaganda, to show that they think Biden should win. They think Trump is a racist or whatever bullcrap they're making up today. He also previously tweeted a New York Times op-ed titled "No, not Trump, not ever." In it, Times David Brooke concludes, "Trump supporters deserve respect. They are left out of this economy, but Trump himself, no, not Trump, not ever." Scully's past provoked criticism from some and concerns about potential bias at the debate, which is scheduled for October 15th. How is this even possible? Dan Gaynor, vice president of Conservative Media Research Center, asked Fox News. When they picked the moderator, did they try to ensure that it would be biased in benefit of Biden? This is the equivalent of giving the Democrats some home field advantage. It's also equivalent to what happened last election. We all know there was a famous kind of mistake where Hillary got caught getting the questions beforehand. That was actually mentioned by Chris Wallace at the new debate, trying to act like he wasn't going to be that biased, but he still was. There's other ways to influence things and to make them steer in the way of Biden. He asked Trump tougher questions about random stuff that was unrelated and irrelevant, but Biden wasn't put to task on things that are really going on, like him kind of saying Antifa is an idea. Like, a good moderator would have took him to task for that, but that's not what's going on. We're going here in with a bias, and it's really becoming hard to swallow. After graduating from American University, Scully received his master's degree in journalism from Northwestern University's Medill School of Journalism in 1985. According to his George Washington University bio, Scully has spent decades at C-SPAN managing election coverage since '92. The program he anchors on Sundays features interviews with high-profile interviews while taking calls from viewers across the political spectrum. His colleagues in the White House press corps voted to give him a spot as president of the White House Correspondents Association from 2006 to 2007. And this shows that he's pretty well liked with colleagues and the press corps and the establishment, which of course is run by liberals. This is a left-wing spin. This is like a favorite of theirs. And it also goes to show a bad sign with C-SPAN. C-SPAN used to be this kind of like like government channel that was pretty neutral and just kind of showed video from Congress, had a few news programs that just kind of delivered straight facts, like a very dull kind of show without a lot of opinions. But now we're seeing over time, all of these news sources are going a certain way. I mean, there's a few conservative ones too. Surely there's Fox News and stuff like Daily Caller and other independent places. But as far as the mainstream, I mean, even Fox News is leaning left these days. They're all going far to the left. Even the most benign channels like PBS or NPR or C-SPAN, those are all kind of similar, like public access like channels, but they're employing all left wingers. That's all you can get in Washington and in the media these days. And that's what we're trying to stop. That's why we're calling it out. That's why we're bringing up this Biden trying to back out of the debate, even though he has it all in his favor. I think that's why it's important to talk about it favoring him, because even then he's trying to back out and use this pandemic as an excuse. That about wraps things up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed what you saw. Subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell for notifications too. Until next time, have a great day.